Welcome back, everyone. The Google Pixel 5a just came out, so let's go ahead and do a comparison between the Pixel 5a and another budget phone around the same price as it, which is the iPhone XR. Now, these two I think are very, very similar to one another, and because you can still buy them brand new, both of them, obviously this one just came out, it makes the iPhone XR a pretty interesting comparison to this device. Now, if you want to pick up either one of these phones, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. Now, side by side, you have a little bit of a different setup, obviously. The iPhone XR has that 6.1-inch IPS panel on the front, and I think it's a pretty decent panel. Like, when it first came out, I wasn't a huge fan, but I think it looks pretty good. It's grown on me, and I don't really think it's that bad. Even though it has a notch, it doesn't look too bad. Where the Pixel 5a has a 6.3-inch OLED display, and it's technically a higher resolution than the Pixel or than the iPhone XR, which kind of threw me off. Now, this specific phone I think looks very good. I think that whole bunch display is also very good as well. And because it doesn't have a notch, it kind of makes the Pixel 5a look kind of like a better phone than the iPhone XR, even though the Pixel 5a is a cheaper phone. This one is $449, this one is $499, so a little bit of a difference there. Charging ports at the bottom, the Pixel 5a does have a headphone jack up top, which is really cool, but all is not perfect on the Pixel 5a. The iPhone XR definitely feels like a much better phone. I guess the Pixel 5a is built out of metal, but it kind of feels more like plastic, to be honest. On the back, the metal back on the Pixel 5a, fingerprint sensor, and dual camera setup, where the iPhone XR has a glass back and a single camera setup. Now, they both have IP certification, but the iPhone XR actually has wireless charging. The Pixel 5a doesn't have any wireless charging, so that's a pretty big thing to keep in mind. So in terms of the outside, that really pretty much covers it up for the most part. But between the software, I really do think the software versions on these phones are going to end off around the same time, which is interesting because the iPhone XR is going to be supported for quite a bit of time. The Pixel 5a, obviously, it just came out. It's going to be supported for a while. But the best advantage about a Pixel 5a, especially for an Android phone, is the fact that it has stock Android. I mean, this thing has a beautiful version of Android on it. I wish it probably had a little bit more features here and there, but it's really not bad. The version of Android this thing is on, Android 11, getting Android 12, and so on and so forth. It's a very solid version of Android for sure. Now, the iPhone XR obviously still supported. It's going to be supported for several more years, and I think this is still a very solid phone. I like this phone a lot. I think it's a very good phone. I have no issues with it. It's going to be supported. I like iOS, and that's pretty much all I have to say. But there is an area where the Pixel 5a just dominates the iPhone XR. That's actually with the battery life. The iPhone XR has around a 3,000 mAh battery, which is actually pretty big. The Pixel 5a though has a 4,600 mAh battery, so the battery life on the Pixel 5a is going to be much better. I have not charged the Pixel 5a since I bought it, and I'm still at a pretty decent. I think I'm at like 60 something percent. So the Pixel 5a's battery life is crazy good. The iPhone XR is very good too, but the Pixel 5a definitely wins there. Now let's go ahead and do a speed comparison between both these phones. The Pixel 5a has that Qualcomm Snapdragon 765G chipset with 6 gigs of RAM, with the iPhone XR has that Apple A12 Bionic chip inside of it with 3 gigs of RAM. So let's go and see which one is the faster phone between both of these. Okay, let's go and swipe out all these apps, which you guys can probably see. Let's do phone calls, 3, 2, 1. And I think the iPhone XR was a little bit faster. Hopping out of this one, let's get into their app stores, 3, 2, 1. And the Pixel 5a definitely was faster, though. That was one thing I've seen with a lot of these apps with the Pixel 5a, with the Android Play Store. It's a lot faster than how the App Store opens on iOS. Let's get into their cameras. 3, 2, 1. And I think it was about the same, not that big of a difference. Hopping out of this app, let's get into some of these third-party apps that we always get into. Let's do Quizlet. 3, 2, 1. And almost about the same. There wasn't really that big of a difference there. Dropbox, which I don't have here. Let's get into Snapchat, 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone XR was a little bit slower there. Hopping out of this one, let's get into Facebook or Twitter, 3, 2, 1. And iPhone XR a little bit faster there. Let's go and get into Fruit Ninja, 3, 2, 1. And I think the iPhone XR was probably the faster one right there. Hopping out of this one, let's get into Stack, 3, 2, 1. And I think the Pixel 5a was actually a little bit faster there, surprisingly. Hopping out of this one, let's get into Snake vs. Blocks, 3, 2, 1. And the Pixel 5a definitely was faster there. Getting into some gameplay, Again, I don't think there's going to be that big of a difference. Let's hop out of this one. Let's get into Temple Run 2. 3, 2, 1. And it does look like the 10R was a little bit faster here. The Pixel 5a, I think, again, did a pretty good job, but quite possibly the iPhone 10R was the faster one in this specific case. You can see that one was the faster one. Hopping out of this one, let's kind of, I guess that kind of covers up the speed comparison. I honestly don't know what to make of it. I don't know which one is the faster one. They both kind of did the same thing, to be completely honest. Sometimes the Pixel 5a was faster, sometimes the iPhone 10R was faster. I think the Pixel 5a may have been faster, but the iPhone 10R was smoother, I think is the best way to put it. So in terms of a speed comparison, that covers it up. Now let's get out of the cameras. Now the iPhone 10R has a single 12 megapixel lens, and I think this camera is still really good. I think it's a very good camera overall. 4K at 60 on the back of it. You do have a 1080p at 60 camera on the front, where the Pixel 5a only has a single, 1080p at 30 on the front. So I think that's a bigger difference. But this camera was pretty good. You have portrait mode, you have a lot of different things, and I think overall the iPhone 10R camera is still really good. But the Pixel 5a does have that dual camera setup. So not only do you have that wide angle lens, but you also have that ultra wide sensor where you can go ahead and zoom out a lot in a photo. So look at that. The Pixel or the iPhone 10R didn't have that capability. Now you still have things like 4K at 60 on the back, which is really good. You have a lot of different options within the specific camera as well, which maybe isn't as good as something like, a Samsung or something, but it's still pretty good. But overall, I think the camera setup is better on the, Pixel 5a. The camera quality is probably also still better on the Pixel 5a, but I do feel like the iPhone 10r's camera is still pretty good. I liked it, but I think the Pixel 5a wins in terms of a camera standpoint. So now to kind of sum up this video and to answer the question, should you go and buy a Pixel 5a or should you buy an iPhone 10R? Well, this is what I'll tell you. I think both phones are great. I think they both have their own capability and characteristics. I think if I had to pick up one though, to be completely honest, I think it may be the Pixel 5a. I think this phone is a little bit of a better phone in some areas. I don't think it's perfect. There are still areas where the iPhone 10R is better. The camera, I think, is better overall on the Pixel 5a. I think the performance is actually a little bit better on the Pixel 5a. I think it has a much better battery life than the iPhone 10R, which the 10R was pretty good too. And overall, it's a solid phone. But I think also the iPhone 10R, like this is not blowing this phone out by any means. Like the iPhone 10R is still a very, very good, capable phone. Its build quality is so much better than the 5A. That's one of my biggest downsides of the 5A. This one feels like $1,000 phone still. I think the notch is a little bit of a deterrent, but I like Face ID. The fingerprint sensor on the Pixel 5a is still really, really good though. I think the performance is still very good. I feel like the iPhone 10R is a smoother phone. So this phone feels like it's smoother where the Pixel 5a may be faster. So that's one reason why I may like the iPhone 10R a little bit more. And now that I think about it, I think it's a complete tie for me. Now for you it may be different, but I think I don't know which one. I thought the Pixel 5a at first because of the battery life and the way it looks and obviously a little bit of the performance. But I think the iPhone 10R may be growing on me a little bit more now. Like this is pretty tough. So that's really pretty much it. That's the full comparison. If you want to pick up either one of these phones, links are down below. You can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section as well. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.